What's up, guys? Dr. Kyler Offenbacker here with Pro Arm Academy. I'm a baseball physical therapist, and I'm here with my man Dawson, and today we're going to be going over pivot picks, okay? This is another plyo care drill that a lot of people try to do it, and I've seen a lot of people honestly just do it wrong because they don't really know exactly what they should be doing or what they should be focusing on. And so if you're somebody that you've tried this stuff, or you're actually like in pain and you're doing your return to throwing programs, this is going to be a great thing to add into your training to make sure you're working on the right things when it comes to actually throwing mechanics. All right, so let's go through some pivot picks today, and I want to show you exactly what I'm looking at and how I cue things when I work with players that are getting back onto the field. Also, if you are actually in pain and with actually throwing, then I want you to make sure that you are actually cleared by a physician or a baseball physical therapist. That way you are ready to do your return to throwing program. All right, there's a lot of people that will do these different plyo care drills and they're not ready to do them yet because the tissues aren't ready to actually be stressed in this kind of way when it comes to actually throwing. So just make sure that you're actually ready to be doing these return to throwing type of activities. All right, so there are several different things that I'm looking at specifically when it comes to pivot picks, but also note there are a variety of ways to do this stuff. So we're going to start with some very beginner stuff, just working on mechanics to make sure that you're just getting in the right positions in the right time, and we're just sequencing everything appropriately, okay? So with pivot picks, we're basically going to start, like we're going to be throwing to the right here. So I'm going to have Dawson face straight forward, okay? So yep, face straight forward. Sometimes people like to have a little bit of their right foot open if you're a right-handed player, just to allow you to clear your hips a little bit more. So if Dawson wants to do that, that's totally fine. But basically we're going to start just straight forward here. And the first thing I'm looking for is I actually want him to curl the plyo ball up. And as you're curling up, you're going to be rotating and getting a strong front side, okay? So let's start with that one first, and then we'll go to the next one, okay? So go ahead and curl up for me and get that rotation. Good, yep. So yeah, don't throw this next one yet. So just curl it up and get into that rotation, okay? Good, okay, so right there, yep, let's stop when you get to that position. Good, so a couple things I'm looking at here. So when he curls it up and gets this rotation, I wanna look for that scap retraction here and having a super solid backside, okay? Same thing with the front side. I wanna have a super solid front side when you get into those positions, okay? So let's go back to the starting point and then let's go through the full thing, okay? So curl up, get a good scap load into it and let it go. Good. All right, so now what we want to look at too is I see a lot of guys when they're throwing the ball actually specifically, they're actually going to cut it. So what I mean by that is when they actually release the ball, they're throwing it down towards almost like they're spiking the ball into the ground, okay? But when we're actually doing pivot picks, we don't want to do that. We want to get some backspin on it. We want to throw it through the wall, okay? So I always tell people, think about somebody that's about 60, 90 feet away, and we want to throw it to them. So when you're turning, you want to throw it through the wall and actually to that person that's about 60 feet away, all right? So let's go ahead and go one more time through this and actually throw it through the wall, okay? Go for it. Good, yeah, so when he's throwing that, you should be hitting roughly about up here with it. Sometimes when you're cutting the ball, like I said, you'll see people throw it more down here, all right? When it comes to the actual weight of a ball, Dawson's got a 225 gram ball, so that's a little bit heavier than a baseball. Baseball is 150 grams, but I really don't want people to be going too much over 225, to be honest. It really just depends on what your goals are and everything, but this is not necessarily to build velo or arm strength right now. This is just a mechanics drill to work on the fluidity of motion and the sequencing of actually what you're trying to do with the throwing motion, okay? So yeah, he's got a 225 gram ball. I also like to have people hold a heavy ball in their glove too. You don't have to use your glove, but you can use it if you want to, but just something to hold on to. That way you can get that proprioceptive input when you get into that front side as well, all right? So those are gonna be some things that I'm looking for. And honestly, the biggest thing that I can tell with this, I'll tell you though with this, is that we don't wanna be throwing through pain, right? As a physical therapist, I want you guys to be healthy and to be doing the things that you should be doing with your training at the right moments, okay? So whether that's your arm care or your even lifting and things like that, plyo care drills are fantastic to add into your routines just to work on mechanics. But like I said before, I want you to be actually cleared to throw, and that way you can actually do these things effectively, all right? If you're hurting and you're doing these things and you're actually hurting, then let's shut it down. We don't want to throw through pain ever, okay, right? So we're going to talk through more of some variations in the future, but this is just the basic intro to pivot picks, and yeah, hope you guys learned something from it. We'll see you next time.